Well, this book is principally about how to create more engaging presentations that don't bore your audience and motivate them to action. And what I've seen over the last 10 years, and maybe even 25 years since PowerPoint was first introduced as presentation software, the first of its kind, it has become overused and misused. And we're ending up with corporate cultures that are steeped in PowerPoint. So they only know how to communicate through slides. And they put everything on the slide, and as a result, they spend a lot of money, a lot of time, they bore their audience, they get bored themselves, they miss the mark, and nothing happens.
So are you saying, Kathy, it's so entrenched in the corporate culture now, it's going to take like, what, an act of revolution to get it out of there?
A new amendment.
Yeah.
So this book is actually not saying don't use PowerPoint or presentation software, it's use it mindfully. So you really do need to understand your audience, your message, what you want them to do. So to think before you start building the slides, and realize, Jim, that you have all sorts of choices. You can tell stories, you can get creative, you can demonstrate your point, you can give examples, and it doesn't always have to be on a screen.
Kathy, you and I both know that breaking culture is the toughest of all challenges, right?
And it starts with the individual.
And it's been going on, you're talking
25,
30
right,
years.
Right.
I know that when I'm giving presentations or when I'm giving speeches, Kathy, I very rarely use projection equipment at all, whether it's PowerPoint or anything else, because I like to walk around, talk to the audience. You have a lot of personal contact that way. And I do agree with you, and I think it's about time somebody said something, that it can become very boring. And it actually becomes a crutch for some people. And I've seen it in its worst form where people just stand there and read.
Stand there and read. That's one of the signs of global boring. If you have your back to the audience, you're facing the screen, and you're reading your crib notes.
That's exactly right.
So we have to wean ourselves off, trust that we understand the message. We can always have our notes close by, but it is very liberating to reduce the number of slides, or in your case, just to go completely slide-free.
You know what's interesting, Kathy, before we get into the presidential thing I wanted to bring up with you, what's really interesting is if you were to ask the question, so tell me, the next 10 people that walk by, and you ask them the question, what's the thing you fear most? You know what most of them would say? Public speaking. I am scared to death about public speaking. What PowerPoint does for a lot of people who are literally afraid and get anxiety over having to stand up and present is if you can stand up and look and have something to read, you feel a lot safer. It's a lot more difficult to do it without anything, is it not, Kathy?
It is, but if you hide behind a podium, if you stand in the dark shadows of the room and all the attention's on the screen, you are a disembodied voice. You're not a leader, you're not sharing your recommendations or thoughts. So you're, I think, damaging your credibility when you hide behind PowerPoint and other forms of presentation software.